If you're watching this video, you may very well be a starseed from Sirius. The soul group of the Syrians is one of the largest here on Earth right now. Over 10% of every single human being walking on this planet is a starseed from Sirius, Sirius A or Sirius B. So, since the Syrians make up a huge portion of humanity here on Earth, it's very important to understand who they are, what their characteristics are, and what it's like on their planets. You are divine. Beautiful children of the stars, thank you so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. We are such an awesome starseed community here. So if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Be part of this starseed community. Before we get started, make sure you check the description box below. There are always some goodies there. Maybe you want a reading or do a course or get a free resource. All right, so let's jump in. Do you think you are a Sirian Starseed? The thing is, if we don't know truly what the essence of each starseed is, if we don't have a frame of reference, we can't really know who we are, right? There's a lot of information out there. A lot of it is regurgitated again and again. So the information today that I will tell you is information that I channeled from the Akashic Records, working with clients, with people like you and me. So when I work with people, I open their Akashic record and I dive in, and I'm able to follow the thread of their soul's journey to the place of origin. I'm able to see what the place is like. I'm able to perceive planets. I'm able to perceive the different kinds of beings there and just see what it's like. So that's where I get my information from. So this is original information, you guys, original information. Now, first of all, to understand the beautiful Sirian starseeds who have given so much to our society. The Syrians are truly one of the most important starseed families here for planet Earth. They have built our societies. They have built our communication systems. They're the hard workers that bring everything together. They hold society together. They are very, very important. And to understand why this is so, and to understand the true essence, the essence of the Sirian starseed, you have to know what it's like there. So I'm going to tell you first about the planet that I mostly see when a Syrian client comes to me. When I say, oh, you're a Syrian, let's see where you lived. And most of the Syrian starseeds have lived in some incarnations, at least on this one planet. I don't know what to call it because the star is called Sirius, so I'll just call it the planet Sirius, the main Syrian planet. So this is what this planet is like. It's a planet that's a little bit like Earth. I'm just feeling into it now again. I feel it's a little bit larger than Earth. It's a little bit bigger than Earth. The climate zone, the vegetation is similar, and the people are also similar to us human beings, right? We look similar because the Syrians, the Lyrans, the Pleiadians, the Hadarans specifically, those are soul groups of the same kind. They are kind of humanoid. So they look like us with slight differences. Okay, their skin color may be a bit different. Their heads might have a little bit of a different shape. Of course, on Sirius, there are different kinds of, I would say, races, different kinds of beings. So the people vary slightly depending on where they come from, which planet they come from, or which part of the planets they come from, right? So you can imagine already a society that's a little bit like ours. Now there's one big difference. That Syrian society is very harmonious, very united. There is not such great separation as here. And I feel that when I went there, in those times, in those lives that I channeled, I went to the times where it was a fifth dimensional society, a 5D society. It could be maybe higher 3D, lower 5D, up to higher 5D. That's what I channeled, that planet, in those times, those eras, I would say, because we know that the planets go through different ascension processes. But I feel that Syrian planet, that main planet, resides in 5D. Okay, so already we know in 5D there is not a lot of negativity, not a lot of polarity anymore. It's very unified, very harmonious. People get along. And the main thing that I found, that I felt, was the cohesiveness, the support of each person for the other, the unity consciousness that was so amazing, so wonderful. So I felt that on that planet, the Syrians were able to connect into the collective very easily. They were more telepathic than we are. They were able to truly connect into the collective, almost like bees, almost like a unified society, a unified mind that everybody could tap into. So the Syrians are able to truly tune in and feel what the other person is feeling. They are truly able to tune into the collective and be part of that telepathically and with their feelings as well. So that makes it very different, because here on Earth we are very separated. We are not very unified. We can't even feel what's going on in the collective if we're not extremely psychic or empathic. It seems like on Sirius everybody is very, very empathic. And that makes for a very harmonious and well-functioning society. So in that society, what I saw were big cities. Big cities. So the Syrians do like their cities. They do like their connection. They love their culture, their architecture, their technology. I saw that they were very, very advanced, technologically speaking, and also in the structure of their society. So what I saw, usually when I tuned in, were big, beautiful cities with big parks, very, very well organized, but with a lot of people. I have the feeling that the Syrians are very abundant. On that planet, I saw a large population, maybe similar to Earth, and very, very big cities, but the cities, like I said, were very well organized, with areas like suburbs, huge centers in the city where there were different buildings and parks and resources, and everything was very, very communal. So in this society, there is no money. There is no obligation to do a job. There is no thing where you have to advance in your career, where you have to have a resume. So the interesting thing is how that society works. I'm gonna say present tense because it's still like that now. That's what I feel in our time-space reality to compare it. Everything there works on the basis of what is needed, because the collective can know and feel what's going on with the rest of the people. And the Syrians love to help and contribute. That's why that society works on the basis of volunteering, because the Syrians are so unified and connected that they know what another person needs. They know if another person is suffering. They know what the society needs to be maintained. So this willingness and this urge to help, to support, to be part of the system, to be part of that beautiful functioning of society, to be part of that beautiful culture, that need of the Syrians makes this society work like that, where nobody has to work, where nobody has to pay for anything. So what I saw was big boards. So this is very interesting. Of course, there are different jobs to be fulfilled, different tasks to be done. People had different talents. But the thing is this, that the Syrians like to kind of switch tasks once in a while. So let's say that there were restaurants or buildings to be built, or I don't know, even clean up to be done, or children to be taken care of. The Syrian people would love to see where there was a need and just say, okay, I'm going to go and work there maybe for a month or 2 months. There was no obligation to stay. And then if there was a need and someone had the time and the space and the energy, they would say, yes, I will do it. And what I saw these big billboards everywhere in the city, everywhere in the country, different streams going across of what is needed where. So it would be like, we need 3 workers in this restaurant. This position needs to be filled. We have a need. There's an emergency here. So people would walk around the city and they would always be aware of what was needed, and then they would feel called and they would go and volunteer and step in and fulfill that role. And because everybody does this in Sirius, they're not, you know, trying to be lazy or get away. Everybody does this. Then there were always enough people to fulfill those roles. That's what I saw. And that was such a cool thing for a society to be based upon absolute understanding that every part of the society, or every member of society, is so important, that every member of society needs to contribute. And this is what Sirius is based upon. So the other thing that I saw, which was very interesting, I had one client who was a counselor there. He was like a public counselor. So he fulfilled the role of someone walking around, and he had like on the back of his shirt, he had counselor written on it. And he would walk around just to help, in general, to help people on the street, in public, someone crossing the road, if someone had a question, if there was a problem. And there would be many of these people walking around who were just public servants, so to say, who would just assist and aid anyone if they needed information, if they needed assistance, if they were hungry, if they were traveling from a different part of town, then he would take them to a restaurant or to a eating hall. And that's another thing that I saw. The Syrians love to eat together in big halls. That's what I saw. So instead of restaurants where you have to go and sit and order and pay, what I saw were big eating halls in different parts of the town where anybody could go and eat without paying. This is like a public service. And again, the cooks and the servers and the cleaner uppers and everything were other Syrians who fulfilled that role in the moment. And the Syrians were proud to fulfill this role. They were very proud to be serving, especially serving in a way that maybe is not so nice, like cleaning up or washing dishes or whatever that is. I felt that the Syrians were very proud to fulfill those roles, and they were regarded very highly to go and fulfill those roles for a while, for a week, a month, a day, or however it was needed. So these big eating halls were public, they were open, and people who walked around, if you were hungry, you could just go into an eating hall and eat. There would be abundant food. There were different types of places with food, and I saw these long tables with complete strangers sitting side by side and talking and exchanging and being very, very social. So that's another point. Syrian starseeds are very social, are very collectively oriented. They fit into social structures very, very well. They can work very well in the system, in companies, because that's what one of the traits of a Syrian starseed is. They want to serve, they want to help, they want to contribute. They're tireless. Where there's a need, they can fill it. They don't mind working hard. They don't mind getting their hands dirty. They get the job done. They see something, they help, they want to improve things and systems. And that comes from this type of society where the starseeds there, that the people there would just feel, even without looking at the billboards, they would feel a need somewhere. They would, if the neighbor was in trouble, if someone was sad, if someone is needing something, they would feel it, they would perceive it, they would know it, and they would go and help fill that void. They would just go and help, because that's the nature of the Syrian starseeds. And the Syrian starseeds that I know here on Earth, they're absolutely like that. They're usually, and okay, we're talking the aligned, positive starseeds. Obviously, every soul that has come from the stars to be in a human body can be positive or negatively oriented, right? I mean, planet Earth, with its difficulties, sometimes brings around so many traumas, so many problems that many starseeds who come here being positive really get dragged down lifetime after lifetime, become traumatized, and then they do turn negative. Then they're not balanced anymore, not positive anymore. So we see positive or negative starseeds. Let me just see. I have it on the table here how many negatively oriented ones there are. I've got of all the Syrians 99.4. 99.4 of the starseeds are positively oriented. Okay. So that's 0.6% of the Syrians are negatively oriented. Either lost souls or evil souls, how I call them, right? It's cut off from source, cut off from divine source. Just so you know. But that planet, Sirius, that I saw there, very positive, very high vibrational, a beautiful, harmonious society as just does not exist yet here on Earth. So I feel looking at this and thinking about this society is a brilliant role model for us when we are moving up into 5D, into New Earth. It's a beautiful role model, a beautiful, I would say, example of how society can work and how it is working on a huge planet out there, right, in the stars. So if they can do it, we can do it. So another thing I saw there was great culture and arts. So the Syrians love their theater, circus, their dressing up, extravaganza, mystery. So in some of those dining halls, I actually saw shows happening, and I also saw circuses, stages, theater houses where there were amazing shows. When I think of Cirque du Soleil, you know, Cirque du Soleil, have you seen that? Like the greatest, amazing show basically that I've ever seen. That reminds me a little bit of Sirius. So some of the shows, some of the things that I saw and perceived there reminded me of Cirque du Soleil, with incredible costumes and artistry and mystery and lights. So I feel that the Syrians are also super creative, very interesting, they love mystery, they love going deep, they're very spiritual, and they love big shows of artistry with a lot of people involved. What I perceived there were shows with a lot of people involved and a lot of acrobatics. I saw a lot of acrobatics there. That's what I saw. And the Syrians also love their spirituality and mystery and magic, going deep, diving deep, as well as being such practical, such logical, and such, I would say, very pragmatic, hands-on oriented people. Now, another thing I saw there was complete equality with male and female. All right. So the Syrians there, I didn't see a lot of machismo or like the super feminine. We always talk about the divine feminine and the divine masculine. There, obviously that exists, but it didn't exist of what I saw in such extreme polarities. Somehow it was more equal, it was more similar, it was more aligned. So what I see in starseeds here on Earth is that they are very balanced in female and male aspects. Usually the Sirian starseeds that I've seen, they are not like the super big machos or like huge muscles or like very protector. They're usually more balanced in their feminine and masculine. They're usually more neutral. They seem just a little more androgynous than some other starseed origins. For example, the Alpha Centauris, who are the super machos, right? Or the Orions, who can be like the Orion men. And I'm talking about the Orion and Alpha Centauri men, who can be like very, very strong and masculine. So the Syrians are very harmonious, very balanced. And of the Syrian starseed body type, Usually, and of course we have so many different ones, but usually the Syrians are kind of athletic, they are slim, they're very sporty, and of course in their essence, in their way of being, they are very balanced. They are very harmonious beings. They are beings that bring harmony and balance to this earth. When you see a Sirian Starseed, they're not quite as in your face as the Pleiadians, for example. They are more likely to take a little step back. It doesn't mean they're in the background, but they're not quite as dramatic and extreme as, for example, the Pleiadians or other starseeds, right? The Syrians are more like calm and even in their personality and in their energy field. The Syrians are very, very good in politics, I would say, and leadership positions because of their balanced and harmonious personality. They're also very, very intelligent and technologically advanced. So on Sirius, on that planet, technology was so advanced, but it was, I have the feeling it was not in the foreground. It was in the background, but making everything work very smoothly. And the technology there absolutely just optimized society in every way. So if you find a Sirian Starseed here, they may be excellent in technology, engineering, mathematics. They may be great builders. They're very good communicators as well. And I sometimes feel they have a very deep energy body. They're emotional beings like us human beings too, right? Like the Pleiadians, like the Lyrans, with deep, deep emotions like the Hadarans as well. But they are able to balance and harmonize their emotions with their mind. So I feel they're also very balanced with heart and mind, spirit and soul and body. They are just able to harmonize all aspects of their being. Their talents, their way of communication, what they do, they're able to just balance it out very well. Just in general, very, very balanced individuals. The Syrians help to build great civilizations and societies on Earth. We know, for example, that Egypt is a product of the Syrians mainly. If you think about the complexity of Egyptian culture, if you think about the architecture, the mystery schools, everything about Egypt can really give you a good indication of the essence of the Sirian Starseeds. I also feel that if you look at today, many of the countries that have very well functioning communication systems, transportation systems, cities that are built in a way that make them work really well, places where technology is used in the best way possible, those are the Syrians. That's the work of the Syrians. I feel for some reason, every time I go to Germany, I think, wow, there's a lot of Syrians here. When I think about it now, I used to live in Germany. I didn't know about starseeds then, but in Germany, I feel there are many, many Syrians there that helped make that country function very well. The systems function very well. So I feel that, for example, Germany is very Syrian and also Arcturian dominated, whereas the United States obviously also has a lot of Syrians, but the United States is more Pleiadian dominated. That's just what I got right now when I'm thinking about it. Oh, and as I'm talking about the Syrians, we have a little Syrian being here coming to visit. Remember him? Hey Leo. Hey Leo, you want to say hello? You want to say hello? Yeah. Are you a Sirian Starseed, Leo? And I think that... Oh, you want to go on the bed? That brings us to the next point. What kinds of beings are there on Sirius? Not only human type beings, but yes, here I got it. Leo, you want to sit on my shoulder for a little bit? You want to be on my shoulder for a little bit, Leo? So I hope the microphone is not completely covered here, but the great cat beings and the lion beings. He just had a hiccup. The great cat and lion beings on Earth are mostly from Sirius. So not only are there human type beings, but we have a lot of other magical creatures that are Sirian Starseeds as well. Oh, I think sorry guys. You want to hang out here a bit? No? All right. Okay. So, besides for the human type beings, a lot of starseeds here are cat beings, lion beings, the big and the small felines. Besides for those, we also have dragon beings. We also have the cetaceans, the whales and the dolphins. And I'm talking about highly conscious starseeds, not at stage of animal consciousness, which is a little lower than 3D, the regular animal consciousness. I'm talking about highly conscious other types of star beings. Now Leo's right there listening. He wanted to remind me, don't forget the cats. So that's the other side of the Sirian Starseeds. If you're a Sirian Starseed, you may have had your first incarnational cycles as a lion being, or a whale being, or a dolphin being, or a dragon being. The other types of beings that I have channeled or seen coming from Sirius, usually from other planets, are the horse beings, either winged horse beings, regular horse beings, or unicorns, okay? There's actually a planet on Sirius, which is the planet of the unicorns. Also, wolf and dog beings, highly conscious. So a lot of starseeds from Sirius I have found have gone through different incarnational cycles as different kinds of creatures. So if you are from Sirius, you could have started off your incarnations as a dolphin, then as a whale, then as a cat being, and then as a human type being, and then you came to Earth. So in that case, you would hold all the different energies, capacities, talents of all those types of beings within you. I recently made a video about whale beings, cosmic whale beings, and a lot of these are actually from Sirius. So if that resonates, I'm going to link that video up there. Take a look at that. One interesting side note that I found is that unicorn beings love to serve as leaders, messengers, and spirit guides to the people of Sirius. This is what I saw. There is a planet of the unicorns, like I said, which is a very, very high density planet, 6th or 7th density, where the unicorn beings, the horse beings with the horn and sometimes with wings, can move into portals from that planet, which also is part of the Sirius star system, and then boom, boom, pop out of a portal on that main planet, Sirius, and then come as messengers or as guides. And I saw that they're actually able to pop into that reality physically, being seen physically by the Syrian people, and they accept these beautiful beings as signs, as guides, as messengers, and they play a very high spiritual role, and they're held in high regard. And a lot of these unicorns also love to serve as spirit guides, not physical, out of the physical, like we have our spirit guides. So they love to serve as spirit guides to the Sirian starseeds living on that planet. Now, because Syrians are so helpful, they want to serve so much, there are a lot of Syrian spirit guides here on Earth. So a lot of people, a lot of clients I've worked with have 1 or 2 spirit guides from Sirius, often in lion form, unicorn form, dolphin or whale form. So specifically, the Syrian animal beings love to serve as spirit guides. And I guess it's because they're so fabulous, magnificent, so different, so interesting. They give us different perspectives, and having a spirit guide in the form of an animal, in the shape of an animal, is just such a warm and loving, it's such a beautiful thing, because a spirit guide in animal form is more approachable. In your mind, when you channel, when you talk to them, you can hug them. They give you warmth. They give you a different kind of energy and groundedness than a normal human type spirit guide does. So they absolutely love to serve as spirit guides. As a side note, one of the first spirit guides I ever met is my lion being spirit guide from Sirius with the name of Aslan. And he actually brought me into this incarnation. He's my first spirit guide. He brought me into this incarnation through the Lion's Gate on 0808. That's my birthday, August 8th, the Lion's Gate. I saw him bring me through on the Lion's Gate into my human body. And he helped me be born into this world. So that's how amazing and magnificent and willing to help and wanting to serve the Syrian animal beings are. They're also very protective and strong and nurturing, and they have a big heart. So whenever I feel very sad, whenever I feel scared, whenever I'm driving in the dark and I'm feeling a bit weird, I call in Aslan, my Syrian lion being spirit guide, and he's right there, and I feel him running beside me. He's so huge that he doesn't fit in the car with me, right? I see him running beside me. I feel his presence right there. He's usually behind me, just behind me on the left or the right. Let me see, where is he? He's on the right. He's here. He's here. Big, huge presence. And when I call him in and I feel his presence, no more fear, no more worries. I'm safe and I know that I'm protected. So in the star system Sirius, there are several planets. I have been able to perceive and channel 4 of them, 4 different ones, from Sirius A and Sirius B. And one thing to remember is if you are, for example, 3D, you cannot physically see and perceive 5D planets. So there is a lot more out there that we, for example, as 3D normal scientists are able to perceive. That's why we can't see 5D spaceships. That's why there are a lot of things happening in the sky we can't see because they're at a higher density and we cannot see and perceive them. So there are also a lot of other planets which are 5D, 6D, 7D and higher, which we physically just can't even perceive because we are not consciously in that density yet. But working in the Akashic Records at a higher dimensional level, it is possible to see, perceive, and to actually visit these other very high dimensional, high vibrational places, planets and things. One problem with Sirian starseeds here on this difficult planet Earth, which is not so harmonious, not so unified, is that they truly want to bring so much harmony and balance and peace to this world that they can easily be yes people, they can easily be subdued, they can easily, by wanting to fit into the system, just be suppressed and oppressed in systems that have become very, very negative. Sometimes they would rather be quiet and, try to fix things under the radar instead of, standing up and saying no. So I feel that in a lot of countries that are very oppressive, that are more based on socialistic systems instead of democracy, there are a lot of Sirian starseeds that are just basically oppressed, that just want to make things work, that just want to help the collective, but that are totally exploited in that way. But the Syrians are so needed right now. The Syrians are needed to awaken, to be awake and aware, and to consciously bring our planet back into harmony and balance, because that's what they're best at. So let me know if you think you are a Sirian starseed. Do you believe that you're a human type Sirian starseed? Do you resonate with the cat beings, with the lion beings? Do you resonate with the dolphins or the whales? Let me know down below in the comment section. So thank you so much. I love doing these videos for you. Let me know what you think. Love you guys. Cosmic Empress. Bye for now.
Hey Leo, are you a Sirian starseed? Are you? Are you? Are you a Sirian starseed? Are you? Did Aslan, my lion guide, send you? Did he? Did he send you? Did he send you? I think he did. What do you say? What do you say?